Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I am reviewing Gambit, which I know is kind of an old figure, but man am I excited to review him. I had a tough time getting him and not paying these crazy prices, but I got him on eBay for just a tiny bit above what he retailed for, so I'm pretty happy about that. He comes with a lot of accessories, or a lot for MAFEX, which if you watch some of my other videos, I criticize MAFEX so much because of the lack of accessories, but not Gambit, man. He comes with some good stuff. I really enjoy playing with him, posing him, putting all the accessories on them. But let's start with the details, because that's another thing that I criticize MAFEX about, the lack of details in some of their sculpts. This character, this figure here, he doesn't have that problem. Look at the sculpt, man. Look at the detail. Everything here is nice. Everything from the soft good to the blue part right there on his costume, the purple part, man, it just looks incredible. When I think of Gambit, I think of the X-Men animated series from the 90s, which is like my top 3 cartoons of all time. And when I see this figure there, it takes me back to those days where I would wake up on Saturday mornings to watch that. Not only does he look just like the part, but he moves just like you would expect a MAFEX figure to move in any way possible. You see that purple right there on his pants? That's not painted on. That is sculpted on. So the detail is there for this figure. His boots right there, the only thing that bothers me is that right there on his kneecap. It stays there and it's kind of awkward, but I understand why they do it for the articulation. But his hair, I mean, that's not possible. But man, he's got some cool hair. He's got a ton of Gorilla Glue on that. His jacket, not only is it soft, but look at the bendy wire on this thing, man. You can make him look like he's in a hurricane. It looks so good. I mean, I've seen a lot of jackets with bendy wires, but this one seems to be the toughest. And look at the texture on that soft goods and the stitching. It just looks really good, man. I came back to the boots because I want you to see not just the detail, but the paint. It just looks really good. I can't say enough good things about this figure. If you could subscribe and check out some of my other videos, you'll see that I don't say a lot of good things about the other MAFEX figures. But look, head sculpt number 1, that's Remy LeBeau. He looks good, man. Like that 5 o'clock shadow, the detail on his eyes, although his eyes are red. I remember them being like a red pupil, not just like red eyes. He looks like a bunny rabbit with the red eyes, you know? It's cool though. I like it a lot. Head sculpt number 2, he looks a little bit more snarling, which I like better. But you know, I like it a little bit more meaner. But look at the detail on him. The like I said, the 5 o'clock shadow, the texture in his skin. I am on board with that, man. I like that. Plus, you know, like I said before, he's got some dope hair. Alright, enough about his hair, but let's go on to the different hands that they give you, which they give you plenty of. His first set of hands, punching hands. They all action figures have to have punching hands, and they look good. I like the black. There is a little bit of texture, even though it's black and it's hard to see the texture. I think it looks really good. The second set of hands, they come with this peg right there. Obviously that would be for the effects that he comes with, and they're really easy to figure out. If you've owned any other figure, you can see that the effects have a peg hole, which, you know, I'll get to. But they look really good too. They're detailed enough that I am so happy with it. The paint is nice. I'm happy to say there aren't any paint imperfections. But check out here, not just the cloth, but the peg. It looks really good. The third set of hands, they're these kind of open hands and they also have the same kind of paint and detail as the others, so they're good to go. The fourth set of hands have this kind of open hand. It's not a trigger hand, he doesn't have a gun, but I feel like you can use these to kind of play some of the accessories, which are his playing cards. His open hands kind of remind me of this come at me bro kind of stance, and they're detailed, they're good. They pop in enough to his arm there that you can't even see the peg. I like that. His fifth set of hands are these hands that are obviously for his bow staff, which is really cool too. I don't think it's better than Donatello's. I like Donatello's better. His Gambit's is made out of some kind of metal, which I guess would make it better than Donatello's, but I'm a turtle fan first and foremost. His accessories here is his bow staff. It's really cool. If I remember correctly, he would push a button or something and it would pop open, right? Am I wrong? It's been a long time since I've watched the cartoons, although I'm starting to rewatch them on Disney Plus. But yeah, his bow staff is cool. You can pose him in all kinds of ways because this figure articulates, that's not how you say it, is articulated in so many ways that you can pose him with this bow staff kicking butt all kinds of ways. The picture possibilities are pretty endless, I think. Okay, so like I've mentioned before, I'm a photographer, specifically a wedding photographer, but now I'm a toy photographer. So the thing about these figures is that they're kind of heavy, and you have to use a stand for them because his wrists are not strong enough to hold it. So what that means is that you'll have to prop them up with another stand, and what that means for us photographers is that you'll have to Photoshop that stand. That sucks. I wouldn't use the stand if I'm gonna do that. I would use some kind of black wire to kind of prop it up, you know. But man, these look cool. I mean, that's how it fits onto his little peg there in his hands. But look at the translucent nature of it. I mean, damn, they look cool. This is looking really good for a picture, don't you think? I mean, him fighting Cyclops or something like that. That would look really cool. The detail on the playing card effects, they're good enough, but I am like taken back with the paint. It just looks really good. There's bits of darkness in there, lighter colors. It just it all pops really well. Like you can just picture him doing this, right? And then you can put another character getting hit and like falling backwards, propping them up with some wires, and that would be a cool picture. Even though I like the paint the most, but the texture in this is not too shabby either. That looks really good. The gradient from lighter to darker, that to me is amazing. This effect here is much smaller, obviously, so it fits onto that little peg hole just the same way, but because it's so small compared to the others, you can basically just pose them like that. So if you're gonna have them like on a shelf or something, this is perfect. But it's also small enough that you can take pictures of them and get it within the frame. If you don't have a lot of space in the background, you photographers out there will know that it's kind of hard to get a full frame picture of the character with his big accessories if you don't have the space. If you're good with Photoshop, which I admit that I'm not the best at, I'm learning, you can do some really cool stuff to make his playing card effects here glow a little bit more. I am currently learning how to do that because I am fully in on this toy photography. I've never had to do effects like that with wedding photography, so I'm kind of new at this. But look, these are his two other accessories, so they don't go into his peg hole, so you can use them with these other hands, like the ones that I showed you earlier that look like trigger hands. You can put the card in there and it looks like he's kind of holding on to it, about to flick it at somebody. That looks really cool. I like that a lot. I was thinking that this one should go the other way around, like the card should be further out, but it kind of makes sense that he's charging it up and it's kind of building this charge, and then the charge is kind of coming out the way it is. Now comes the articulation portion of the video, which in all honesty I feel like I don't really need to show you that much because it's a MAFEX, okay? You already know this thing is going to move in any way you want, but his arms, they go up about that high with his jacket on. They come inwards about that much. I was actually thinking that maybe his arms would come a little bit more inwards, but I think this is perfectly fine. It does everything that I want it to do, all the poses that I've thought of anyways. His elbows, they bend about that much, which is better than 90 degrees. That's pretty good too. I mean, that alone right there, right, would get you thinking of a whole lot of shots, a whole lot of photos and poses for him. His wrists, they swivel all around. I mean, like I said before, if you own a MAFEX, any MAFEX, you'll know you can pose him in any way you want. He arches back about that much, although he needs assistance because he'll just topple over. Although when he arches, you know, the gaps are gonna show, like this one, and that's kind of unsightly. You don't want to do that, not even for pictures. So you'll have to kind of Photoshop that to make it a little smoother, or maybe you don't even want to pose him in this way. Even though he could do it, doesn't mean you should. He goes forward about that much, and check out that jacket. I mean, I'm telling you, you can make it look like he's in a hurricane and it looks badass. So I'm saying a lot of good things about this figure, aren't I? Dang. Because if you watch my other figures, especially the Cyclops MAFEX one, God, I'm so disappointed. I had to take him out for this video and to compare him to that, and I'm disappointed all over again. But anyways, we're talking about Gambit here. He can do the splits about that much, which is pretty good. He can bend his knee that much. His ankle, it twists and turns in all kinds of inhumanly kind of ways, but like right there, his kneecap, like I said before, that's the only thing that I really don't like. But if they had done it any other way, he probably wouldn't be able to move the way he does, so I'm okay with it. The toe, it articulates, that's always nice. In fact, if they didn't have that now, you would probably question why not, right? But I look at these shots and I'm still more and more amazed at how detailed and how nice the paint is. I wish all the MAFEX that I were to open or have open, sorry, they would look like this, because damn, I am so impressed with this figure. It's probably my favorite MAFEX so far. His waist, it swivels and turns about that much. Actually, it turns more, but I didn't want to push it. But this looks pretty good, don't you think? I keep looking at that jacket and I'm more and more impressed. Seriously, I really like it. So let's check out how he compares to other figures. Here he is next to Black Adam from Figuarts. Now, I've been saying a lot of good things about his detail, but Black Adam and Figuarts, I think they have MAFEX beat when it comes to detail. Because even looking at these pictures side by side, you can see the slight textures in the Black Adam, and you're not gonna say it's because that's the way he is in the movie and this is the way Gambit is in the cartoon or in the comics. No, that's not it. It's a matter of preference that MAFEX chooses. Maybe they prefer that, or maybe they do it because it's cheaper to produce that way. I don't know. Here he is next to Wolverine. He's taller than him, but not by as much as you would think. I think in this case, Wolverine is just a little bit too tall. But Gambit looks good next to his teammates here. Or I guess they wouldn't be his teammates in these versions of these costumes, right? And there's that damn Cyclops again. I can't even look at it anymore. But anyways, some of you like the box. Here's the box, but I'm going to take this opportunity to ask you, can you subscribe? Yeah, that would mean everything to me, because I put a lot of effort into these. Like a lot of effort. And I've doubled down on the effort. So I'm going to keep pushing, because as of right now, I'm at 150 subscribers. And my goal was to reach 100, and I've reached 50 more in less than 2 months of having this channel. So I would really appreciate it if you guys commented and let me know what you think, and let me know what I can do to improve, because that's what I aim to do. Thank you for watching, guys. Have a great night.